While eating, the woman suddenly noticed something strange. The pregnant woman across from her only ate a jelly bean, but her face showed a slight distortion. Ellie was deeply shocked, but in the next second the woman quickly returned to normal. Ellie was so frightened that she stood up. The sound of the chair falling alarmed the staff. When the staff asked her what happened, Ellie claimed that nothing had happened. That night Ellie began to reflect on everything that had happened. She realized that everyone in this institution seemed very strange, so Ellie asked her roommate Rosie a question. Ellie asked Rosie which side of the bed her husband slept on. Rosie said she had forgotten. No matter how hard she tried to remember, she still could not recall. Hearing this, Ellie fell silent, because she had forgotten too. One person forgetting could be a coincidence, but two people forgetting was extremely strange. The next day, Ellie went for a walk in the park. While resting on a bench, Ellie casually picked up a stick. Then she drew the outline of the Eiffel Tower on the ground. At that moment, Ellie suddenly heard a pleasant melody. Soon after, Rosie and her companion arrived. From them, Ellie learned that this sound signaled someone was about to give birth, and that the delivery room was inside the tall building in front of them. Every newcomer who arrived here would be arranged to tour the various facilities inside the center. Hearing Rosie's words, Ellie felt puzzled. She had no memory of this. At Rosie's request, the center's director Victor led Ellie to the delivery room. When she saw that there was only one birthing bed in the room, Ellie became doubtful again. One bed could only serve one pregnant woman. What would happen if two women gave birth at the same time? In response to Ellie's question, Victor simply said not to worry. Everything had already been planned by the center. After leaving the delivery room, Ellie was taken to the psychological counseling center. Ellie wanted to tell them what she had seen the day before, but before she could speak, the psychiatrist asked her if she had been taking her jelly beans on time. After receiving a positive answer, the psychiatrist smiled. She said that if Ellie ever felt too much pressure, she could focus her mind on an activity, but Ellie couldn't even remember what she liked the most. Seeing this, the doctor smiled again. After leaving the counseling center, Ellie entered another room. There she suddenly noticed the paintings inside. Ellie was astonished. The artist's skill was remarkable. Hearing Ellie's praise, the woman picked up an art book and gave it to her. Ellie accepted the book and began to flip through it. But when she turned to the third page, Ellie's expression instantly grew serious. She then took the book and dragged Rosie to the park. Ellie picked up a stick and asked Rosie to draw the Eiffel Tower on the ground. After much urging from Pilar, Rosie sketched the shape of the tower from memory. But when Ellie saw the drawing on the ground, she was deeply shocked. She dragged Rosie to the spot where she had rested earlier that morning. Then she showed Rosie her own drawing of the Eiffel Tower. Rosie said the two drawings were very similar, but Ellie insisted they weren't just similar, they were identical. Then she picked up the art book again, and on the third page was a painting of the Eiffel Tower. The sequence and proportions of all three were exactly the same. Could this really be just a coincidence? This discovery made Ellie uneasy. At that moment, Rosie saw the director of the center. She suggested telling him about their discovery. Maybe he could explain Ellie's doubts, but Ellie flatly refused. She no longer trusted anyone in the institution. At this moment, Ellie had no idea that after returning to the center, the director went straight into the work area. There she removed her protective helmet. This was the core area of the institution, and also the exclusive care zone for newborns. In addition, a huge number of baby embryos were stored here. Just as Ellie had suspected, on the surface it appeared to be a maternity care center, but behind it hid even more terrifying secrets.